Our words have this incredible power. They can build things up or just tear them right down, bring clarity or total confusion. But what if I told you there's this short, ancient text that's basically a masterclass in communication? A guide not just for, being polite, but for speaking with real purpose and even eternal significance. Let's dive in. So here it is. At first glance, this seems like pretty solid advice for just getting along with people, right? Be wise, be gracious, say interesting things. It's the kind of advice you might get before a networking event. But the author here, the Apostle Paul, he wasn't writing some self-help column.
And this is where things get really interesting. We're going to reread this, but not as friendly advice. We're going to treat it like a high-stakes directive. Imagine it's a mission brief for an agent deep in foreign territory with a job that absolutely cannot fail.
That brings us to the central idea, the believer as a skilled ambassador. Now think about what an ambassador does. They don't represent themselves, right? They represent their home kingdom. Every move they make, and especially every word they speak, carries the weight and the reputation of the one who sent them. So let's be clear. This mission isn't just about being a nice person. It's about strategic representation. See how the text mentions outsiders, those who are outside the faith community? Well, they're the primary audience. This is all about living and speaking in a way that you accurately and compellingly represent the kingdom you belong to. Okay, so every good diplomat needs a toolkit. And the first part of this mission brief focuses on the absolute essentials for an ambassador's conduct. How they live, how they walk, before they even say a single word. First up is wisdom. But the original Greek word here, Sophia, tells us so much more. This isn't about having a high IQ or being a great debater. It's a practical, on-the-ground, tactical skill. It's the ability to take divine truth and apply it to the messy, complicated situations of real life. It shapes your entire lifestyle. And then the text throws this line at us, and it just dials up the urgency to a whole new level. Make the most of every opportunity. The original language is actually even stronger. It's more like redeem the time. It gives you this sense that something precious is about to be lost forever if you don't act now. So why the urgency? Well, it all comes down to two different ways of thinking about time. We live our lives in chronos. That's the ticking clock, the minutes and hours marching by. But this text is talking about kairos. A kairos moment is a divinely appointed strategic window of opportunity. An ambassador has to learn to spot these fleeting moments where a simple conversation suddenly has massive importance. All right, so we've got the conduct down. Live with wisdom. Seize those key moments. Now the mission brief shifts to the ambassador's most crucial tool of all, their language. The first ingredient in our speech? Grace. The Greek word here is charis. And this isn't just about being polite or, not offending anyone. It's about speech that actually gives something to the person listening. It's constructive. It builds them up. It's speech that mirrors the generous, giving heart of the kingdom you represent. And the second ingredient? Salt. Now back then, salt was way more than just a seasoning for your food. It was a preservative. It stopped decay. It was a symbol of purity, of faithfulness to a covenant. So salty speech is speech that preserves truth. It brings clarity and points to something real, enduring, and incorruptible. And here's the absolute key. You need both. It's all about the balance. See, grace without salt can just become weak compromise, totally afraid to speak the truth. But salt without grace, that becomes harsh, abrasive, and just plain judgmental. The real skill of the ambassador is blending them perfectly, to have speech that is gentle but not weak, and truthful but not harsh. Now, thankfully, we aren't left just guessing what this looks like in practice. We have the perfect example to study. Christ himself was the master ambassador, the one who embodied this perfect balance in every single conversation he ever had. Just think about it. With the woman at the well, he mixes the grace of offering her living water with the salt of gently revealing the truth about her life. To the woman caught in adultery, he shows this incredible mercy. That's pure grace. But he follows it with the command, go and sin no more. That's the preserving salt. And then with the self-righteous Pharisees, his speech becomes almost pure salt, a sharp rebuke needed to cut right through their pride and defend the truth. So what's the big takeaway from all this? There's no script. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. Christ's communication wasn't a formula. It was a perfectly tailored, discerning response for that specific person in that specific kairos moment. That's the level of skill the ambassador is called to develop. Okay, so now we get to the debriefing. And this is where we feel the full weight of this mission. Because this isn't just about being a more effective communicator right now. It turns out there are eternal stakes. I mean, listen to what Jesus himself said about this. Every single careless, idle, unproductive word will be brought into account. That simple statement just reframes every single conversation we ever have. It puts it all in the context of a final review. Suddenly, small talk doesn't seem so small anymore, does it? And boom, that brings everything full circle. Remember redeeming the time? This is exactly why it's so critical. When you seize those kairos moments, you produce intentional, meaningful speech. When you let those moments just drift by, you end up producing those exact, idle, careless words that will be judged. Our stewardship of moments is directly tied to the quality of our words. So here's the really profound, maybe even a little scary takeaway. Our day-to-day conversations, the texts we send, the comments we leave online, the quick chat we have in the hallway, all of it is quietly, constantly shaping an eternal record. It's the evidence of our ambassadorship.
So this mission brief, this whole guide, really leaves every single one of us with a final question. When that final account is reviewed, what will your words say about you? Will they speak of an ambassador who lived wisely, who redeemed the time, and who spoke with that divine balance of grace and salt?